Hi everyone, it's Sloth here, and today very innovative deck, a deck that really makes use of Kotose, the Silent Spider, and she's not just addition, because that's a cool card. This card is actually making this deck work, and it's so incredible in some situations that you need to reconsider how you evaluated Kotose the Silent Spider so far. I for sure did, and this card really shines in this deck. So before we go into all the details, the games were pretty fun, and just see one or two games at the start, you will see everything about Kotos that you really want to. And this was insane. It's one of the favorite parts of Dimir, stealing enemy win conditions, and this is like squared. So go for the games if you don't like, bumbling about all the technicalities of the cards. And if you are here still, I really appreciate it, and we can go through the idea behind the whole deck. So basically, it's like mono black control. We are heavily skewed toward black, so pretty much we just need one island for the full game usually, and the rest is black. So we have Eyetwitch, Shambling Ghast, the standard package with Deadly Disputes and Meathook Massacres. So the shell is there. But the fact that we can start drawing with Kaito and all our 1-drops is pretty insane. Kaito is actually one of the engines for the whole deck. This is one of the most annoying planewalkers for the enemy to deal with. And basically you want turn 1 Ghast, turn 2, I don't know, whatever, and turn 3 Kaito. And then you can start drawing cards. If enemy doesn't have perfect answer, he's really behind for the full game, and you can feel it in the games. What more? We have one Sorin, because that's alternate way to draw cards. So, we draw with Kaito, and then we draw with Count Dracula or Sorin, and then we draw our normal cards. So 3 cards a turn is all the difference that you need. And finally, Kotose, the Silent Spider. 5 mana 4/4, not very impressive, but when she enters the battlefield, you can remove any card from the opponent graveyard. Any card, not just instant, sorcery, creatures. You can target anything that's not a basic land. And then you exile it from the whole deck, library, hand, and graveyard, as usually. And then you get to cast it once. So not only you remove it from the deck, you can also cast it as long as she is in the play. And this is where the deck comes into play very heavily, because obviously when you see this card, you prefer to cast the spell at the same turn, because they can untap and kill Kotose. You don't want to let it happen. So this is why you really need to be hesitant with using the treasures if you can help it. Because if you accumulated like 4 or 5 treasures, which isn't hard for this deck, you can very easily cast very big spells even at the same turn. So you can pay 5 mana for this, and for example cast a 5 mana Planewalker, Ren, whatever you want removed from the enemy deck, or just wedding announcements and things like this. So it's not very hard to chain those, and there's a small hidden secret about this card that you might not see at the first glance. It also searches the hand for the enemy for this card that you removed. But it doesn't say that if you exile from the enemy hand, you draw a card or something like this, or create token. No consolation prize, And this makes enemy discard a card for free. So if you target something that you see the enemy has in the hand, and we have 1 Duress for this, you can see the enemy hand if you really want to. You can target the card that he has in the hand, and that's basically free discard on top of removal of the key cards that he has in the hand and graveyard and the deck. So you really need to think about the target. This card is the hardest one to use in the whole deck, and I'm not going to lie, I had very big trouble sometimes deciding which is the card that we don't want for the enemy. You also remove his top decks. If you know that there's one card that saves the enemy, you just remove it and nothing saves the enemy. And you will see it in one of the games, we really went ham on removing key saving cards for the enemy, and I think it really went nicely. So you can see why this card has so much power. And also another interaction, Blood on the Snow. We have quite a few snow lands, And we usually need 3 for Kaito, but usually we go to like 5 or 6 or something like this. And we can bring Kotose after the sweeping, which is amazing. Because not only you get another chance at removing another key card from the enemy deck, usually they can leave without 1 card. But when you start chaining those and removing 2 or 3 main cards from the deck, his deck stops working at all. So when you get her back, and very often you can cast the spell on top of the Blood of the Snow, thanks to treasures, like, man, you can start wreaking the enemy deck so hard, and every time you get a free value. And for example, in enchantment decks, very often players don't run removal. And against this kind of decks, you can just play Kotose, leave her for the full turn, and just cast it next turn. We have tokens from Shizuki, we have tokens from Sorin, we have a lot of small creatures that can block and deadly dispute, so it's not like we are pressed to block with Kotose at all, usually. So the synergies are definitely here, the deck is very strong, and I've played it quite a bit, and it's both fun, it's both very, very skillful, and at the same time I think it's really enjoyable, because like, go into the game too and you will see exactly why. That's all I'm going to say. So I think the intro is already very long, so thank you really. And anyone who cares about the full description of all the deck, I never know how long to talk about those things, but I think Kotose is so interesting that she deserves a few minutes of extra time. So let's go into the games. Thank you for watching, and if you like this kind of deck, and I really do, just go like, subscribe and comment. It really helps the channel and really makes me a happy panda after I steal some win conditions. So thanks and enjoy the video. Okay, no Eyetwitch, but Ghast is good enough for starters. And we generally want black mana, so I prefer to start with the Swamp. And 2 mana play. Hopefully we draw something. Perfect. Perfection. It might be red. I will risk it. So they might play some kind of mountain and attack with haste, but I'm willing to risk it. Let's wait for the target. Well, that's perfect for us. He wasted his turn and we did like the same thing that we would do anyway. So really good for us. And one of the reasons, you can see, we could already do Kotose. Of course, there's no point to, but we could. And I will sacrifice one of the treasures. We have a lot of mana, and we could hit Kaito or something, and then we would start drawing cards. But we didn't. So with this card you definitely want to save your treasures, so you can cast the same turn. Okay, it's on forest, not on the layer of the Hydra, so that would suggest enemy doesn't have a great draw. Okay, and this is Halina and Alina, I guess? Not sure. Oh, the card. Yeah. Don't mind me. Field of Ruin is very good here. But Marsh is a bit better right now. And the reason is that we can bounce something, if we really want, and if not, we can always use the Infernal Grasp. So this thing is scary, only after it has been, you know, upgraded a few times. We have quite a lot of mana. Okay, how exactly this worked? At the beginning of each end step, if an enchantment was put into your graveyard from the battlefield. Okay, so that wasn't the battlefield. It means that he doesn't get it back, and we delay it quite a bit. Enjoy your counter, no cards, and nothing went into graveyard from the battlefield, which is pretty huge. We could even get rid of this. It might be pretty good. Okay, we are doing this. We are definitely doing this. And you always want to do the snow lands if you can. Oh man, that's cute. So, right now we exile this card. We see the enemy hand, so he doesn't have anything for Kotose. This will be a problem. So we need to be careful. Okay, library, graveyard. Okay, and 2 Hollowed Hauntings, 4 cards, and pretty much the standard. He only has 2 Mishikos, and the rest is as always. Cool. I actually really hope that he has one of them in the hand, because contrary to the usual cards like this, you search, you remove from the hand, and the enemy just shuffles. He doesn't draw the cards for this, so if you see the enemy hand, you can choose the card that he has in the hand, and it's even card positive. So that's fine, we can kill it. And we always have the Blood on the Snow as a reset button, and we can start attacking enemy very nicely. Not great that he draws cards, but in the end, it's okay. It's okay. He also used the Ganjo. We don't want to bounce it. Probably should play Field of Ruin, because most likely that's the play anyway. But you know, we can start attacking. Maybe we force enemy to exile his own Kami, which would be hilarious. I will keep those. They might be game winning at some point. We can also bounce our own Kotose, which might be a great play actually. Okay, so he got the Naturalist and no land, so if he doesn't have land in the hand, never mind. But that's not the correct land. Okay, so how fun is it? We forced enemy to remove, like, look at those removal targets, he didn't get anything out of them. It sucks that it's a legendary creature. We definitely want to attack. We don't have great targets for the Abandoned Mire. We could play another Kotose and maybe remove champions. How good is it? It's exiled, so exactly how it works. Graveyard, hand, library. So we cannot exile those cards. We could get rid of the run for champion. Honestly, I'm not sure what the correct play. It's so hard. With Kotose, you really need to know all the decks and at the same time make a correct decision, which is not very easy. I will actually wait. I will wait because we have Otawara. And I don't really want to remove my own creature like from the board, because then they might remove it somehow, like well, they actually don't have it. That's a good point. We check the deck so we know they don't run it. Okay, so hopefully he buffs this guy a lot. Because he wants to attack this turn. So we probably bounce it. That's a lot of cards, so next turn will be very, very hard. Oh man, that's so good. So freaking... And you can see how this turned out to be a great decision. I don't think this matters at all, so you can tap it right now. Channel. And we remove this one. So right now he doesn't draw, and pretty much doesn't do anything. I honestly think at this point we can Mire. Maybe we hit something interesting. Or not. We might also not hit anything interesting. So definitely Bloodchief first. Man, this is so close. This is definitely super close. And the enemy has haste as well. And he didn't use it. Like, haven't used them. So we cannot exile them. What could we exile? Like, Rune of Sustenance is pretty important for him, I guess. You know what? I will do it. We also get additional blocker, and with Blood on the Snow, we cannot take them. Oh man, I messed up a bit. But that's fine, that's fine. I'm thinking about either this or this. Mishiko. So they want life gain, probably the most. Let's get rid of this. Okay, that's his hand, so we discarded one card from the hand. That's pretty good. Okay, and just to double sure his removal. Yep. Oh man, this card makes deck really hard to play. But at this point he cannot life gain, unless he plays this guy. That's pretty much his only way to recover HP, so that's pretty good for us. We couldn't draw Kaito, and we don't have enough snowlands for Blood on the Snow to get Kotose back, which is one of the good plays in this deck as well. So it's going to be a bit tricky. Yep. So enemy will be able to attack with huge trample next turn, but he cannot heal at the same time, which is pretty important. That's not the land that we would like to have. So let's go like this. We draw the card. Okay, that's interesting. Definitely something we want to do. And owner is this guy, so don't think about it even. We could remove this. Then he has to buff this card. Yeah, I think that's good. And I will play it on black. We don't need a lot of blue in this deck at all. Let's get rid of this. It's also good because we lose only 1 HP. And now we can attack and heal at the same time. So either the enemy loses this, and I think he should. And then he doesn't have target for Mishiko. Maybe actually he shouldn't, because that's his only play. And if you want Field of Ruin, we should do it now. So, let's do it. And I have no idea. So, what mana he needs the most? Green? I would say green and white. So, let's get rid of his white mana then. This is important because we can get Black Swamp, and if we draw a Snowland, we can get Kotose back, which wouldn't be the case normally. So that's why we need to maximize the mana. So now he needs Trample. Like, he can remove the Ghast, which a bit sucks, but then it's one less card, you know? Okay, that's fine. Wow, this is pretty huge, but it doesn't have lightning, and this is the reason why we removed the rune. Okay. So we definitely attack. Enemy does this, we heal. So like in the race we are really going pretty nicely. I don't want to show that we have something. We could go for Kotose and maybe use it on this card. Like, man, that would be pretty huge play. We have double Blood on the Snow, so I still think it's okay. Next turn it would be better. Okay, I will wait one turn, because enemy cannot raise us. So it's a bit passive, but we have to use the second Blood on the Snow next turn to kill the portrait of Mishiko. Okay, that's pretty good. So, attack first, just for the life gain. Enemy has 1 rune, but he cannot get it from the graveyard. Destroy all creatures. We get 5 snow mana. And now we can get Kotose back. So as you can see, she's not a small addition to the deck. She's actually one of the big things here. And let's get the cards, the showdown. Enemy also cannot hit it. So right now this is not his top deck. He cannot get it. Which is amazing. Like, we just eliminated the best top deck from the enemy. We also have Hall of the Storm Giants and a creature, so oh man, that's a good top deck. That's healing him quite a bit. But we get so many cards that I think, wow. Oh man, he will be mad. I would be mad. I would be really mad. I would stop playing for the day, I think. I would good game him, but and normally you would prefer to play this before attacking, because if he had like instant removal, then you waste the card. But man, like, Kotose really made this game. Like, look at all the key cards that we removed from the deck, and even the Kami. This would be such a hassle throughout the game. Every turn it would come back. So, and we also got it with the Circle of Confinement. Man, I really like Kotose's addition to this deck. I believe there's a world where we can go first and also have both those cards, but it's still good enough. It's still good enough, because now we have Shambling Ghast. Hopefully he won't do anything to remove it. The other part of the hand is a bit scary. It's super expensive. Okay, let's attack. To show the pattern to the enemy, let's make a stop and pretend that we have something. So when you make the stop, enemy will see that you have an instant. We will wait around 7 seconds to pretend that we have something. Okay, good. And that's all we wanted, so the enemy doesn't play a creature and we can safely start drawing stuff, especially the enemy is tapped out. So enemy thought that he's card advantage more than us, and that's not the case. And the addition of 1 Sorin is pretty huge, because this enables us to draw 3 cards a turn. Portable Hall, very good decision by the enemy. But you know what? It's not good enough. Enemy has a lot of work to do. I think we do it like this. This gives us the most cards. If we create token with this guy, then this draws and discards, so that's not great. Oh man, enemy has all the answers. But still, he cannot keep up with Kaito. No, okay, I thought he has 1 mana removal for Kaito as well. That would be quite insane. So, definitely attack. Get the freebies. Nice. We prefer to cast those lands first, in case it, you know, matters. I would really like to kill this, but it's not really efficient. But you know what? I think it's worth it still. You also get the Ghast. So what exactly is this deck? So far, mono white control. Maybe he misses blue. But still, I think it's correct call. We get the creature, even if he sweeps the board. That's acceptable. Not great, but you know, he needs to pay 5 mana for Doomscar, and if he doesn't have it, he's in a big trouble. And it seems he is. If we get Deadly Dispute, that's amazing. We can get rid of the pilot. And the fact that we have 6 power on the board is pretty huge. Okay, interesting. Pretty interesting. Okay, we're definitely attacking. We have blockers, and we'll probably kill the pilot somehow. I would expect big block here. Okay, that's fine. So we definitely kill the pilot somehow, but first let's draw and see what are the options. Not the worst ones. Let's go back. The more the merrier. Meathook doesn't look very great, and Kotose is okay, but not great target so far. So I think we just kill it. I need to be careful. I totally remembered and I knew about this, but you know. We could play one Meathook Massacre. You know what? I will. Because it's very possible this will be like a drain match, and the faster we start, the better for us. And we have second one, so you know, it gives us some fuel to get going. So this will be Kotose, which is unfortunate because that makes playing her together with the spell very hard. But you know, she still removes stuff. Oh, Duress is pretty amazing. Let's attack, draw, and then Duress. Okay. That's the... Oh, right. Shield. I think we will draw something. If not, we might even use the Meathook. But probably not the best play from my part.
Thanks. I'll be taking...
Okay, so what exactly are we doing? I really wanted something to sacrifice the Ghast. But in this situation we probably Meathook. So this is just damage, right? Yep. So Meathook for 1 will kill everything. Enemy shouldn't have any buffing capabilities. I have a feeling that probably I misplayed it a bit. But you know, it's also still fine with the Shambling Ghast that we have in the hand. And enemy lost all the vehicles and stuff. So I think it's still good. Probably should Duress at the start. Man, I'm making quite a few mistakes. You generally want to make sure to see the place.
Mission's compromised.
Like,
Time to go.
it's like, what the hell is this deck? Like, seriously, what is this deck? Is it mono white aggro control? It seems to be weird. Still, that's good for us. And now the question, do we draw a card?
Hope you're ready for some mind games.
Or create a ninja? Enemy will play probably both. Or play Adeline and then buff with adversary next turn. I think we need to start drawing cards.
Now, what do we have?
Okay, that's not the worst. Not the best as well. Okay, so he wants to prepare double strike for the next turn, which is quite scary. We could go for Kotose, and what? Undo's inversion seems amazing. Oh man. Oh yes. Oh yes. Sure, so we have what? Nearly enough mana. I'm going for it, man. Like we are doing it. We have another one. It's super risky, and you definitely don't want to play it because it's a land right now. We don't want to block, so if that's a double strike, how much is it? It won't kill us. So I should draw a card.
Thanks.
Okay. So we definitely don't want to lose the Kotose. If we draw a natural land and enemy doesn't get removal, I think we are pretty much winning the game. We also get back the Shambling Ghast. Okay, so the enemy is going for a huge one hit. On Kaito? Sure, that's great. So they aren't trying to threaten even our life total. Like, sure, we have a lot of those. You can see how annoying this Planewalker is for the enemy, that he's... But man, like, this deck is something else from the enemy. Okay, so we did not draw what we wanted. But still, we have a lot of good cards. So I think this is the play. We can create a lot of treasures, a lot of stuff, and Deadly Dispute. We probably can draw. We would play those anyway, so it won't make a difference. And that's perfect. So right now we have full army of small stuff. We don't attack with Kotose, no reason, it will be blocked with Adeline. And we just need to hope for either losing a Ghast. Like, I'm not sure if the enemy knows what we are doing. It seems like he doesn't understand why his cards are here. Not sure. We definitely can trade everything. It's not trample, so we don't really care. And dying to first strike won't matter, so we don't need any smarty plays. And it also drains enemy, which is quite nice. Okay, so I would assume Mascot Exhibition just to kill him. I just want the land naturally, or I will get the treasure and play it with the treasure. We want as many treasures as possible. Okay. Probably should cast this. I'm not going to lie, I forgot. Great Mythic player, I know. So, probably Ondu's Inversion and we get the Ghast and the enemy has nothing. How amazing is it? And we definitely want this mana. Because they will die anyway, because they are artifacts. I'm so happy right now. Oh man. How amazing is it to kill enemy mono white aggro with its own sweeper of all permanents. Like, this is insane, like purely insane. And now we can do this. I could also go for Kaito and Meathook, things like this, but I just think we just need a lot of muscle on the board, and next turn we can start doing stuff with it. Even if his top deck is very good, it shouldn't threaten us. Yeah, like, sure. Oh man, that felt so fulfilling. Killing enemy, and I still have no idea what this deck does by the enemy. We have Deadly Dispute, so we can attack like this. This guy doesn't do anything. If they double block, they still lose both of them. And now we can... You know what? I think we deserve this final. Like 5. Oh man, that was such a great game. It's indestructible. Yep. So he needs 2 rounds of it to become indestructible, and it doesn't make any difference. So I have no idea why the enemy didn't play around it. I think he doesn't know how Kotoku works. Yeah. So basically, we stole the enemy sweeper out of his mono-white aggression artifact deck. Oh man, Mythic. Okay, I'm pretty sad that we aren't going first. That would be perfect in this situation, because we could start drawing cards, but you know, You do what you gotta do. I will start with the Ghast, because if it dies in any way, and if the enemy tries to attack us, we get the ramp that we need with Kaito. Okay, and that's pretty much what's going to happen, I guess. Okay, and this will be for drawing cards, I think. So if the enemy attacks, we have a lot of options, so we block probably with Ghast, get the treasure, play Kaito, attack with Eyetwitch and draw the card, hopefully the third land drop, then we play a blocker. Fearless Pup. First strike, Boast. For 3 mana it gets +2 with first strike, that's okay. I don't think the enemy will block, unfortunately, but I hope he will. Okay, that's actually perfect for us, because otherwise we would be really stuck. And we trade the gas for the additional card, so that's pretty much neutral. We didn't draw the land though, which was the big plan here. So it will be harder, but with Eyetwitches we should land some science. And hopefully we can go into Blood on the Snow. Enemy seems also stuck onto lands, exactly as we are, but we are more expensive deck overall. So that's not great. Negate, so this will be for Ranger class pretty much only. Do we attack? I think we do. We are brave little bat. And cards are pretty good.
Now this is a juicy
Okay, interesting. We should probably kill this thing. We could also spam a lot of stuff, but I think Shambling Ghast is really good here. And I don't want him to save the creature. And I don't want him to draw. That's the main point. He could attack with 6 attack, especially with the first strikers. So, well, he drew the land anyway. But I hope that we can at least gain 1 more turn. Okay, that's very good attack. Like for us. Oh man, that's perfect. Enemy is drawing a lot of cards, but the board is pretty much cleared except the Otawara. It's 2 for 1. Okay, so I guess we attack, and also enemy doesn't flip to nighttime because he doesn't have 3 of the things. We definitely need to start drawing a lot of cards. So what, we get Count Dracula to provide a token. This draws a card. I think we have to attack. We want to go until 6 mana and then hopefully win the game. And this having 6 loyalty is quite heavy. That's good. How likely is the Ranger class? Not really. Enemy cannot remove this easily. If he pumps the pup, it's still fine for us. And if he attacks with Otawara, then we just block. And save the Dracula. I will call him Dracula. But it's Sorin. Pretty tricky game so far. We aren't extremely endangered for the HP. So he can pump the Fearless Pup. Then it's 3-1. But this would mean that he had full turn inactive, pretty much. So his attacks really matter. I'm not sure about every combination yet, so we will just see what exactly he's doing. So he seems to be scared of Kaito. I don't want to ultimate it, really. I don't think we need to. So I think we save the Sorin. Because then we can pretty much draw 3 cards a turn. And, you know, that's really a lot. Okay. So we are, what, one turn from Blood on the Snow. Enemy has one, so let's attack first. Probably we should draw with Sorin. It was all intentional. But seriously, I didn't do it because there's no reason to give us this possibility. He could cast it at the upkeep, so that's pure mistake by him, which actually saved our Planewalker. But this is the reason why I didn't expect anything like this. If you can kill the Planewalker, no reason to not do it during your phase. And if it's a nighttime, you can do it at the upkeep when the night switches. So, not really any reason.
Thanks.
Okay, that's really good. And I guess we want the staff reveal. It's not a snowland, but it's enough. As long as we hit the 6 mana, we are pretty happy. The bat armor. Oh man, probably I should leave one in the hand, but I think with 2 Planewalkers we are in a very comfortable spot. Like, we can keep drawing, and then we can get back one of the Planewalkers. So if there's a lot of Eyetwitches, it forces enemy to start like committing to the board, and this makes the Blood on the Snow better, and they will die anyway, so you know. And I won't play it, maybe we get the Snowland. So as long as we are in control. Problem is enemy will flip to nighttime. So let's draw and see what we get.
There's no secret
Pretty
I can't
interesting.
unlock.
Pretty interesting. And what do we have at the Deadly Dispute? What good card do we have? So we have pests, they don't really matter too much. Environmental science, I guess it's okay. Not the greatest. So this will give trample and draw cards. This can kill nothing, and this doesn't change, so it's not the worst. I think we go for the Deadly Dispute after the blocks. If he commits all the mana for the Tovlar, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. Okay, and even though it's a lot of counters, and enemy, I'm sure, is very proud of himself, that's perfect for us. That's exactly everything we wanted. So now we can sweep everything, and at the same time get no damage. We don't kill anything, so we might do it as well, like this. And I guess maybe confront the no, Mascot Exhibition is just better. We need to close the game after we sweep, and I think we should be very good here. Oh man, we are learning so much. So confront the past. We have the land. How many we have? 4, 6, 7. This won't be useful. I think Necrotic Fumes. There is a world where we might be short on removal. So first, always attack, because then we draw additional card, if we want to. And I guess Meathook would be enough. We can play the land, and it's what, 5? No, we have to go with the Blood on the Snow. Destroy all the creatures. 5 is enough. So we can get back Sorin. Or the Dracula. I said it's Sorin, and I said Dracula before, so don't mind me, I guess. And I really want more mana. Okay, so I think we make a token with this guy, and we draw with this guy.
I know something you don't know.
And I don't want to... okay, so that's not needed. 2 cards. So probably this, we don't need HP so much, and 1 Kaito. It's still better to draw without discarding, because we can make selections better a bit. Well, maybe not. Don't mind me. That didn't make a difference actually. Doesn't get haste, which is very good for us. Okay, and finally we can get our Kotose, which is one of the points of this deck, but at this point it's probably not super needed. So let's attack. We need to start killing the enemy. Let's draw here. Yep. And basically would cast Mascot Exhibition. He would probably kill one of the Planewalkers with like pumping, and then we remove the creature and start attacking with the mascots and win in 2 turns. Okay, we are going first, but we have no creatures. Definitely with this deck you want to have a 1-drop, but we'll try to go from there. And that was a mistake. It should be Shipwreck Marsh, in case something blue comes in. So, you know, not the mistake that cost us anything probably, but not great play from my side. Definitely. We have Negate, so we can as well Duress and see what's up. Oh man, it seems a lot of what's up. Wow, that's a packed hand. Enemy has all the colors. Can we no, I really think we cannot allow any of them. Probably one wedding announcement is best. That will be challenging. So now we counter his play. And next turn we need to go into mid-hook direction, pretty much. Oh man. 2 more turns and we can use the Hive sacrifice, I guess. Oh man, that's not great. You definitely want at least like Kaito or Eyetwitch or Ghast or something like this, because half of your deck works on the creature side. Oh, why do we see this card? I probably missed something. Oh, because it's Duress, yeah. It cannot remove the creatures. Oh man, this is starting to be a disaster. I'm not happy about this game so far at all. Like, sure, we removed some stuff, but other than this, we don't do anything so far. At this point I might... No, I cannot hide because it's Vanishing Verse. Okay, finally. Freakingly. But now he can remove it. No, he doesn't have black mana. So he can use it on March. But honestly, I still think it's worth it. Because then we get a token. He has to trade 1 for 1, and we get the token for the sacrifice on Deadly Dispute. It also makes a bit more awkward to trade. What? If he allows it... Why didn't you play this? He has the white mana. Okay, I'm baffled by this, to be honest. Sure. I guess it will be Meathook, but we still can cast it for 1. If I had 1 Deadly Dispute, I would definitely cast it right now. But I have 2, so he doesn't have a great choice. He will attack with 2, just to draw a card, I would assume. So we can block, but it's not worth trading. We much rather draw 2 cards and get a treasure. It ensures that we can use Meathook Massacre after this gets buffed, and all his creatures will have 2 toughness if we want to. And you know, all the good stuff that we can do. Sometimes you prefer not to play land, because when enemy sees you have land, you can play a bit differently, so everyone will assume that you start by playing land. So sometimes you can bluff pretty nicely with it. Like right now we are exactly on the point of Meathook massacring with this treasure. Anyway, back to the game. We cannot attack with anything. We don't have good targets for the Blood on the Snow, so it's still Meathook Massacre for 2, but definitely like this. Not the biggest fun, and I should probably draw first, because if he has an instant he can kill Kaito, but if he has, he should do it main phase. Unless he wants to sacrifice 2 cards, I guess. Sure, let's just draw. Okay, that's interesting draw. So enemy has 4 mana. Valky seems super far from now, but we still want some removal, I guess. You know what? I think it will be Ghast. It doesn't provide much value, and Eyetwitch is way better. Way better. Enemy still doesn't have black mana, so Vanishing Verse is not a thing. Okay, Spellbinder is fine. Interesting choice. Not sure if that's the right one. I think we still kill it. It's quite expensive, but this creates pressure, and enemy cannot really remove Eyetwitch very easily until he finds the black mana. And when he does, we cast the Deadly Dispute, and he knows about it. So as long as you can keep drawing cards, you are in a very good spot. And we need a lot of cards. But with Lessons, Kaito, and enemy not being able to draw the black mana, we are pretty fine. And we don't want to sacrifice the, the bat, the crazy bat, the most broken card in the set. Like, it has such a great synergy with Kaito. You don't really want to destroy it, especially using cards, but you have to because Kaito is insane then. Drawing card every turn. Look, we are pretty much nearly even with the enemy already. Okay, and we can start playing Kotoses, I guess. I would love playing some card right after it though. So enemy can exile a card and get rid of her. So we need to make sure that our target is good. It's either the Mirror Breaker or Wedding Announcement. I think Wedding Announcement is a bit worse. We could play more like calmly and not do anything, but I think that creating more pressure will help us overall. So I assume he will remove Kotose, and the value that we will get is forcing him to act. Yeah, like he needs to act. Okay, and he spent 2 removal cards for this. And let's see if he has something on hand. Okay, sure. We also get to see the deck, which is quite sweet addition. Okay, so Sorin, Showdowns, a lot of Kiki-Jiki. I remember Kiki-Jiki from the Tooth and Nail deck. That was actually my deck that I've played to quite a good extent. Okay, so enemy has no wedding announcements right now. If we get rid of the other big cards, like, it gets better and better the longer we play for us. So, first attack. Like, enemy really got mana screwed, and he didn't have decisions that he could prevent it somehow. So I feel you, man. But at the same time, we are doing stuff in the meantime. It's just 2 mana. So what we do if the enemy plays how was it called? Like the 5 mana Planewalker. We don't have good answer for this. I still think we create as much pressure as we can. Enemy cannot kill with the Meathook, so let's start doing stuff. And if we can play next turn the Mirror Breaker. Enemy seems quite desperate if he sacrificed Vanishing Verse. Sure. And now we can deadly dispute this, draw more cards. And you can see that in few turns, enemy had 7 cards and we had 3, and suddenly our value kicks in. And we still get to remove all the key cards from the enemy deck. I think that's one of the best parts of this deck, that you really get game-changing decisions over and over, and with all the bouncing you can remove enemy main point of the deck just as a side note. So it's not like your main strategy you can play if you never draw this, but if you can, you just remove all the best cards from the enemy deck so he cannot even top deck anything.